Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. And if you are watching this the day that it has gone up, I hope you had a wonderful Christmas or holiday or whatever, because today is technically December the 26th. So yesterday was Christmas for me. This will be going up on the 27th, so it should be very close to when everybody had their Christmas. So I wanted to say happy holidays, Merry Christmas. I'm sure everyone is going to be very excited for the next year. But I just wanted to jump off the bat and just say I hope everyone had a great holiday on the 25th. If you did not celebrate at all, then I hope you had a great day on the 25th. So now that that is out of the way, we're going to go ahead and jump into today's video, which I'm very excited to do because we're going to be talking all about my 2024 reading goals, and it's changed a little bit. So if you ended up watching my reading journal, like setting up my reading journal video a couple weeks ago or so, I had on my main page, which is my bookshelf that I'll be filling in as I read my books throughout 2024. I put down that my 2024 reading goal was 110 books. It has since changed slightly. So I've been thinking about how many books I want to try to challenge myself to read. And if I don't hit this goal, I am not going to be upset because, as I've said, I think in a previous video, I was lucky to read one book a year in the past. So just being able to say that I have read as many books as I have read this last year and what I'm planning to read next year is a huge achievement for me. But if it does not happen, I'm okay with that. So I'm not going to force myself to meet this number, but it is, I'm going to attempt to read that number of books, but you know, I'm a person, I have work, I have kids, I have responsibilities, and I just sometimes don't feel like reading. So if I don't hit this number, then I'm okay. But anyway, all that being said, I digress into a whole nother thing, but it has changed from 110 books. Only slightly I have increased it to 120 books. And that is because I have, as I said, today is December the 26th, and so I only have a few more days to go until the 1st of January. But looking at my Storygraph, if I would have set my goal this year as 110, I probably would have met it. I've decided I'm going to increase it slightly to 120 books. Hopefully we'll see in 2024 in December if I'm close to that number. But like I said earlier, if I don't hit it, I'm not going to be upset. As long as I read one book a year, I'm happy because that was more than I did in the past. Let's really quickly, I want to jump into my Storygraph just so that way you can see where I'm at the present moment. So we are going to do a little picture in picture, which is going to be the first time I've ever done this. So yay. We'll see if this works. Otherwise, in editing, this is going to be a very awkward situation, but let's go ahead and pull up my Storygraph. Right. As you can see, I'm on my tablet and we are going to look at my Storygraph. This is what I end up using for tracking all of my reading. I like this better than I like Goodreads. I do also use Goodreads just to show, what books I'm reading and keep track of my numbers of books that I read. And plus, a lot of my friends that I have don't use Storygraph, they use Goodreads. So I do use both, but I primarily use Storygraph just because of the graphs and charts and things that they use that you can see. I like graphics. So if it can show me a chart and a graph and a pie and all those kind of things, then that's going to be something I'm going to be interested in. As you can see on my homepage, I'm currently reading God of Ruin. I'm 26% done. And I'm also reading Final Empire, but honestly, I probably should just delete that because I'm going to be restarting that in 2024. That is one of the books that I did want to read in 2024 or reread again because it's been so long since I've read Final Empire that I really would have to start fresh anyway. So that's probably going to be deleted and restarted again. But right now I'm actively reading God of Ruin and I'm about 26% done. I should get that done hopefully this afternoon or tonight. But we're going to go to the stats, and this is everything for 2023. And this is what I wanted to talk about, why I'm increasing my reading goal. So you can see here my 2023 reading goal was originally 72 books and I am already at 106 106, with God of Ruin going to be finished today. It will be up to 107. And so I still have like 3 more days left. And, you know, if I really pushed myself, I could get that 110 book mark. So I wanted to make it a little bit more challenging next year, and that's why I've decided to increase it to 120 books. And then I've also have the number of pages that I've read. Storygraph will automatically tell me how many pages I've read throughout the year. And of the 106 books, that equates to 43,845 pages, which is awesome. And this is, again, like I said, I love Storygraph just because of all the graphics, so it will automatically kind of put a pie chart and show what type of moods the books that I do read, kind of where they fall. The majority of them are emotional, adventurous, and dark. That's basically half of my pie chart is just those 3 moods. And then we have the pace and page number. I'm usually around a medium paced type person. That's the type of books that I really enjoy. And then the page number is usually between 300 and 500 pages. That's usually my sweet spot for books that I really do like a lot, or that I primarily gravitate toward. That is around the page count, because I think anything less than 300 pages, I feel like you don't really get emotionally attached to the characters because you don't have enough time with them. And then anything over 500 pages is, unless it's in a series like Throne of Glass, anything over 500 pages, I feel like it's just too long, and I feel a lot that I will end up getting bored. So 300 to 500 is usually like the sweet spot for me. I did have an audiobook, which was over, honestly, I don't remember which books I had audio. I don't really read a lot of audiobooks, but it does track whenever I do an audiobook, the length of that book. And so you see there's 25% was between 8 hours and 15 hours. And then 75% of the books that I did read were less than 8 hours. And then we have whether fiction and nonfiction, which obviously, if you've looked at any of my reading wrap-ups or my TBRs or anything like that, I don't really have a lot of nonfiction. I think the only nonfiction book that I read last year was the Prince Harry nonfiction book, which we're going to be talking about what I want to do going into 24. And so hopefully that will change the nonfiction to fiction. Hopefully that will slightly increase from 2023. And then we have all the genres. I primarily sit at romance. We have contemporary, which is a lot of times the contemporary romance is usually what that is. And then fantasy and young adult. Those are my top 4. Those are what I'm going to gravitate toward at a bookstore or any kind of YouTube videos. If they're talking about any of those genres, those are definitely gonna be something I typically like to read. And then it also has the format, so it'll keep track of whether I read my books on physical copy, digital copy, or audiobook. I usually stick to the physical book. And then it will also, Sarah J. Maas and Carrie Maniscalco and Abby Jimenez are my 3 big authors for 2023. Sarah J. Maas is Throne of Glass, and that's not going to change going forward into 2024 because I will be reading the ACOTAR series, so I know I'm going to be reading a bunch of her books for that, and then I might end up talking or starting to read Crescent City, but I'm not sure. Carrie Maniscalco was the Stalking Jack the Ripper series, and that was also Kingdom of the Wicked. So those 2 series made up the majority of all of the Carrie Maniscalco books. And then Abby Jimenez is a brand new romance author that I found this year, and I basically tried to read every single one of the books that she already has. And then one of the main things that I really do like about Storygraph is this graphic of the number of books, number of pages, and number of minutes per month, so you can kind of see the trend of where you're at. So in December, I am already up to, I think I'm at 11 or 12 books, which is the highest of the year. And then I'm at about 50,000. Whoa, not 50,000, 5,000 pages. And then you can see in May, that was when I had my audiobook. I still don't remember what it was, but I did have some kind of audiobook in May. And then the last graphic that Storygraph has is the star ratings, and my average rating is 4 stars. And then that is my Storygraph. So looking at all of this, this is why I have decided to up my reading goal to 120, just to see if I can have those, if I can hit that number. And the beginning of the year, January up until May, while I did do a lot of reading, I still had between like 7 to 10 books a month. I would like to try to increase it, and I think I'm gonna be able to do that. I think the first part of the year I was trying to really get a good feel of how I'm gonna read and like my schedule, and I think the middle to the end of the year I really hit a stride on when I read and how much I read and what books I really enjoy to read. So I think that I think I'm gonna be able to definitely meet the like 10 book a month threshold as long as I continue that schedule and that trend, which I think I should be able to do. So that's why I'm gonna do 120. Hopefully I'll be able to hit it, but if not, you know, things happen, and that's just, reading is a hobby and something I enjoy, but I'm not gonna force myself to do something that is making me unhappy. So that is my story graph. And now we're going to talk about some of the things that I wanted to try to do in 2024. The beginning of 2023, I kind of had some of these ideas. I had already tried to identify some of these things in 2023, but I just kind of lost focus and just wasn't able to get them done. But we're going to double down and really hope that in 2024, I can start doing some of reading these new books and kind of widening my genres. Because as you just saw, I stick to romance, contemporary romance, young adult, and fantasy. Those are my sweets, those die-hard books that I love. And so I want to try to expand that. So going into 2024, I'm hoping to add some classics into those books, or into my monthly reading. So I do want to try to read Little Women, Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde, Dracula, Frankenstein, and Jane Eyre. So I have all of those books except for Jane Eyre currently in my bookshelf. And so I'm hoping I'll be able to read those. Those will probably be more audiobook. A lot of the classics are very hard for me to digest because it's written in a different time, obviously. And it's harder for me to really understand the tone and what's happening on paper, because I don't talk like the way that they talk in classics. So those are probably going to be me reading those books whenever the audiobook is available for download through my local library. So I'm probably going to end up throwing them all on Libby and seeing when the audio comes available. That's when I'm going to try to read them, or listen to them and read them at the same time. So that was one of my goals. I wanted to try to read all of those books in 2024. And then the other thing that I wanted to try to do in 2024 was change my fiction to nonfiction percentages. Because like I said, the only nonfiction book that I read in 2023 was Prince Harry's little biography that he had put out this year. And so in 2024, I want to do that same thing, but I want to read the Britney Spears biography. I want to get hers in audiobook, because I heard that she narrates her book. So I would like to kind of read her book, but hear it actually come out of her mouth. So I want to read the Britney Spears book. I want to read the Matthew Perry book. And then the last book that I want to read is the I'm Glad My Mother Is Dead by McCurdy. I can't remember her first name. Like, I can visualize her, but her first name is not coming to mind. But I want to read her book because I've heard her book is also really good. So, and then one other little note about 2024, and I've gotten better at it in 2023, but I really want to reinforce and kind of take it to heart in 2024, and that is I want to DNF books more freely. So I have DNF'd a couple of books in 2023, but it got to the point where I had tried to force myself to read so much of the book before I finally decided I had to give it up. And I don't want to do that. I want to DNF a book as soon as I realize I'm not enjoying it. I don't want to try to force my way to read 50% of the book before finally giving up, because that could be 50%, or that time could be spent reading a book I truly enjoy, instead of making myself read a book that's just not making me happy, and I know I probably am not going to want to finish the book anyways. So I want to allow myself and feel good about DNFing books that just don't make me feel happy. And if I DNF a book, find another one that I'm going to enjoy, because reading, again, as a hobby, and I should enjoy my hobby. I should not make it into something stressful, because once it becomes stressful or upsetting to me, then I'm not going to be motivated enough to continue reading. So that is my last goal for 2024. And so if you've made it to this spot of the video, drop me down in the comments, what are some of your 2024 reading goals? How many books? Do you have a reading goal? How many books do you want to try to read in 2024? What are some of the things that you want to try to accomplish in 2024? I would be very interested to see what you think and what you're doing going into the new year. So with that, thank you so much for watching. Thank you to everyone who has subscribed to my channel this year. I've only had this channel for maybe 6 months, maybe. I've really started to increase the number of videos just over the last couple of months because I really do enjoy making videos on books. I like talking about books. I like reading books, and I want to thank everyone who has taken the time to watch my videos, to comment on my videos, to subscribe to my channel. And if you have not subscribed, please subscribe to my channel. I love talking to you guys. So with that, thank you so much for watching. Please make sure you like and subscribe, and I will see you in my next one. Bye.